just shoot with it.
That's exactly what we're doing. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Jerry Foster SEMO Music and Arts Podcast. Today's guests, this is great. You're getting a twofer. Two for the price of one. That song playing right there?
Yeah.
That's going to be on the new solo record.
Okay, right on.
I like that one.
Big enough.
Anyway, my first guest, he's a repeat offender. He was here about, 5-6 weeks ago.
Hey.
We yacked about his modeling career. We talked about...
Politics.
Did we talk politics?
A little bit.
I thought we did a little bit. Mainly we talked about your modeling career with Angie Christian. And the other guest we have on here today, he's a former DJ from the local radio station Z95, The Bone. I think he may have spun a tune of mine or two. I miss him dearly. He no longer lives in our area. He is recently a new daddy. You know, I didn't even introduce the name of the first guy. I'm not very professional. That's all right, because I pay the bills on this bitch. It's a Jerry Foster podcast. That first person I was speaking of was Mr. Jacob Ford. He's the repeat offender. And the fellow that I am referring to now, the former DJ, my good friend. I miss him dearly being around here. I miss cutting his hair. I miss picking on him. No, I didn't really pick on him. I just miss him. He's a good guy. He's my buddy, Mr. Kyle Roberts. What the hell is it on Facebook?
Got 17
you got
names.
Like 20,000 names. Kyle
I
Bryan.
got two.
What is it?
Robert.
KRob? KRob? That's what it is. We'll go with
Personal
that.
fan page. Professional. Entertainer.
Can I call you Skylo Low? That's my favorite midget wrestler of all times.
I was more of a Max Mini guy.
No!
I liked Max Mini.
Max Mini? Is that your way of making fun of Max Moon? Ew.
Dink the Clown.
Stop.
First off, Kyle, I'm going to start with you first. What have you been up to, man?
And I was just working a regular day-to-day job, man. Got this new Walmart that opened here and enjoying life as a brand new father with my right bright bundle of joy, Michelle.
Oh, yes. How old is your baby now?
She just turned a month old on Thursday.
That's awesome. Is she in a sleeping pattern yet?
Oh, yeah, she's got good sleeping patterns, and she'll go for about a good 6-7 hours. She actually lets Mommy and myself sleep at night.
Oh, wow. That'll go away soon.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So I have a question. Does she have a job yet?
Does she have a job?
Yeah.
And my daughter?
Yes. Is she providing, or is she going the Bernie Sanders route?
Oh, good.
Oh, it's starting early. I didn't even have to start
Wow. Fingers already. No, despite her appearance of being taller than me, which isn't much of a feat.
Yeah, that's not a stretch.
Actually, she can't work. I mean, she came out of the womb looking down on me.
Well,
She's like, look up, Dad.
well, you're 3.5 foot tall, so.
Dad, up here.
Well, you know, she's gonna play pro basketball or be a pro softball player, and I need some retirement money. Me and Mom want to go on vacation somewhere. So.
I hear that.
That's awesome. Jacob, what have you been up to, man?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. Been here, been there. Haven't really done much as far as professionally since I was here last time. I had a couple photo shoots, new swimwear line and stuff coming out. Got those proofs back the other day, so I'll be sharing those soon for all those people that love my gratuitous, self-absorbed pictures on Facebook and stuff. Other than that, I'm getting ready for a big shoot at the end of the month. I'll be in LA for about a week. Company's doing a big coffee table book, kind of. You might be familiar with the book Madonna did in like the 90s. Coffee table book. It's kind of like that.
Sex. It was called Sex.
It was called Sex. So we're going to do kind of a play off of that, a black and white 150-page book.
You gonna be any nudity?
I think there'll be some. I don't think nudity. I think implied nudity probably.
What about those underwears I saw you wearing that had no ass?
Well, those are assless.
Well, what are they called?
The jockstrap.
Okay.
It's simple.
The jockstrap. Well,
Right back to high school.
I'm glad
just
I
a
never
jockstrap.
wanted to know the names of those. I saw those and I had to do about a 5 take like this. Did I just say Jacob in assless pants?
It's nothing new. I mean,
no, it's been around forever.
I mean, I was a known streaker in high school, so whatever.
This is true. I mean, God, I've seen and heard all your exploits in high school, but that's a story for another day.
KRob, I seem to remember you walking around bone stock without a shirt on, stud.
Oh, yeah, it was really hot that day.
Kyle the exhibitionist.
I think the Ernie Lewis band got you worked up.
I don't know about all that. I mean, it was a really rough day, and I just basically said screw it. And
What's it? What? I heard about that. Weren't you doing the Tawny Katane thing on the hood of a car?
Ew, no.
That was Randy Bailey.
Oh, that was Randy Bailey. Never mind.
Yeah, you see, he's got the hair to do.
I knew somebody played some Warrant Cherry Pie and somebody lost their mind. That's how it goes.
So what are you doing anything in radio these days? Anything at all where you're at?
I can't. No, I originally came out here and applied back in July for the station they have here, which is owned by SEMO Radio Group. If you guys remember them?
Yeah, they used to run Z95 before River Radio.
Exactly. Mac Media came in and took them over, but Zimmer has a station down here. You know, basically the same format as Z95 Clear and KWOC, but the guy wasn't hiring, and I emailed him an interview and sent him my resume, and no dice. So if that ever opens back up, I'm game to jump back in.
Awesome. I would really like to hear you back on the radio somewhere, and I know that you really enjoyed doing that.
Dude, I've honestly been itching to get back in it. One thing that I plan on doing whenever I get my computer fixed, or at least get a webcam, is I'm going to work on starting up a wrestling and sports style podcast of my own.
Excellent.
Wrestling podcast.
Hell yeah.
Wrestling is definitely an art. Like, I try to maintain a music and art. Music first, but art. This podcast is definitely about art as well. So here's what I want to get us on the subject of today. All three of us, we love wrestling, whether it be old school, recent, or all in between. I want to talk about wrestling music.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's talk. Let's go with right now. Let's go with the topic best ring entrance
in current
right
day.
Now or all time.
All time.
All
well,
time.
I tell you what. Let me rephrase that. Most recognizable ring entrance. I've already got mine.
Hulk Hogan, Real American.
Real American.
Yeah.
As soon as that hits.
Yeah. Okay, that was definitely what I was going to go with. Mm-hmm. But what about Ric Flair?
Ric Flair's good. Ric Flair's.
That's in the top.
Yeah. I remember watching that movie Small Soldiers when I was a little kid, and it almost sounded like Ric Flair's music, and that was the first thing I said when that movie started.
How about Pomp and Circumstance?
I was about to say Macho Man.
Macho Man.
How about this one? I'm gonna sing it. I'm just gonna hum it, and you guys guess what it is. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, no, can't ever imagine what that would be, Shawn Michaels.
I'm just a sexy boy.
I'm just a sexy Kurt. I'll make your ankle hurt.
What do you think? What would be another really memorable one? Like,
Backstreet USA, the Fabulous Freebirds.
That was the first. They were the first people to use it, though. First people to use entrance music. First notables, and Michael Hayes sang it himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not well, but he sang it.
But before that, do you know what those guys came to the ring? You guys are considerably younger than me. Probably about a good 10 years. But do you know...
Probably about 20, Jerry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Look, man, I'll tell you right now, when I was your age, I could have been a model too, damn it. For, Plumpendales. I'd have been a Plumpendales dancer.
Hey.
Chunkendales, baby. No, before you guys were probably even born, the Freebirds, they were one of the first bands to come out, and they did the song Freebird by Leonard Skinner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They did come out to Leonard Skinner for a bit.
That was on Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, God, that was great TV.
It sure was. With Gordon Solie.
Oh, the best.
The Dean.
You guys mentioned other great, things. You gotta look back at the early days, or along with the Freebirds, where the Road Warriors came out to Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Oh yeah, I mean that's back before like intellectual property mattered and they could use good music. It's kind of like the whole CM Punk issue in WWE current day when he up and decided that he wanted to come out to Cult of Personality. Vince didn't want to pay for it. And he was like, "Well, I'm gonna use it, and they'll probably send you a check, so you should probably pay for it."
Yeah, you see how that worked out for him.
Worked out great.
Reaction.
Oh yeah.
Even his other song prior to that, "This Fire Burns" by Killswitch Engage, I like that one too. But Cult of Personality fit him.
Oh, it was great.
Not just as a gimmick, but him as a person.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of the instrumental. I mean, some of the new music I'm not a fan of, the new entrance music, and even the ones that have lyrics, they don't make any sense. They're like Mark Henry's music. If you actually look at the lyrics, it's terrible. It's just nonsense.
What do you okay, we just went from most recognizable. What would be some of the most forgettable?
Forgettable entrance music.
That American Dream Dusty Rhodes one.
Yeah.
No, see, I've actually grown to like the Common Man Boogie, especially since, Dreams Past. It's kind of grown on me a little bit, but honestly, doesn't it all make you think of is the polka dots?
It's Sapphire.
They took so long for him to get to the WWF, and he got there, and they buried him with polka dots.
Well, they tried to at least, and then he wound up making it work. Jacob, I know you'd appreciate this one as a forgettable thing. Your favorite wrestler, Buff Daddy.
Oh my God.
That one, I wish I could forget Buff Daddy. I wish I could.
No, you remember the American Males theme song before?
American Males, American Males.
That one was terrible.
What about this one? What was that one PM News? He came to the ring rapping, a big old dude, about as big as Viscera.
Big guy, yeah.
Talking about Men on a Mission?
It was in WCW though. They were called PM News.
Yeah. I remember who you're talking about. I can't remember who they were. I think they were job guys, but
yeah,
I can vaguely remember that.
But honestly, how many memorable theme songs came out of WCW that were actually made by WCW? More of them are forgetful than memorable, to be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
Other than the NWO theme.
Yeah.
Which was a combination of a bunch of Jimi Hendrix songs.
Mm-hmm.
You had Highway Child, or
Voodoo Child.
Well, they actually did use Voodoo Child.
Yeah, Hogan did use Voodoo Child.
Yeah, and Hogan, of course, used it.
Yeah.
As a standalone. But would you say that the best homemade WCW theme song was Goldberg's?
No, that was terrible.
I would say, iconically looking back, no, I would say it would probably be, historically, I think Sting's music. Sting's Crow theme.
Or the Man Called Sting?
Sting's Crow theme, not the Man Called Sting. Alright? We don't need that. The Man Called Sting was produced by Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, on the WCW Slam Jam album. I know Jerry was about to graduate high school when that came out.
Yeah. So that's about the right time period.
What about
35 years ago.
What about what's his name? Self High Five.
Oh yeah.
That was a ripoff of Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, that was Nirvana.
Nirvana, but I love it.
That was Nirvana.
And then Chris Jericho's was a ripoff of Even Flow by Pearl Jam.
Yes.
They did that all the time.
Most people don't remember that.
Somebody in
I love that
WC
Jericho music.
Somebody in WCW liked the Seattle grunge sound.
Oh, somebody. Well, WCW, they were willing to pay for it. They were willing to pay for. That was during the time where they were beating WWE's ass hand over fist every week. So they had the money. They could pay for the rights on those songs.
Speaking of musicians,
why they wouldn't.
Speaking of musicians and WCW, what famous punk artist from one of my favorite three-piece punk bands was a writer for WCW at the very end?
The very end.
There's some trivia for you.
I don't think we were watching at the very end.
I tried not to watch the end, but
I'll give you a hint.
I know they're towards the end. I might be wrong. I know they're towards the end. They were really involved. From the Misfits, guy with the dealy dally through his forehead.
Yeah. I can't remember which member of the Misfits.
I
know.
Either.
But it wasn't. It was Bob Mould from Husker Du.
Really? Okay. Right on.
Find out something new every day, but then again...
I love me some Husker Du. Yeah.
All right, I've got one. As far as memorable music, completely doing a turnaround to garbage music.
Ooh.
Number one in WCW on music changes. What do you think the worst music change was?
Dean Malenko.
I have two that I'm kind of stuck with. Dean Malenko, yeah, I could see. Sting going from the Crow theme to a live version of a Metallica song off an obscure Metallica song off their first album that nobody knew what it was. Good song, Seek and Destroy, but not as good. And Bret Hart's theme music in WCW.
Didn't I just basically spin his WWF theme song, in reverse?
That's what it sounded like. It was a complete... You could tell that they were ripping it off as close as possible without getting sued.
Well, that LOL WCW, they kind of did that. And they also did that with Raven, where they ripped off of Nirvana, Come As You Are. That was not as memorable, but it's still pretty cool. But you want to talk about a guy going from a good to a horrible thing. I know, maybe some folks aren't the biggest fans of Goldberg's theme. Do you guys remember when, for a short minute, he used the song Crush 'Em by Megadeth?
Yes.
The entrance theme?
I do not remember.
Well, that was when they were hyping that terrible Universal Soldier movie, The Return, that was his first movie.
I remember that.
He was in Universal Soldier. There was that big fight scene with Jean-Claude Van Damme somehow kicking Bill Goldberg's ass. I'm not sure if that is literally possible.
Tell me this, guys. Musicians / wrestlers. Obviously, we got Michael Hayes from Freebirds. We, John Cena. Obviously, Chris Jericho with Fozzy. I'll even add in what's her name, Maria, who used to sing the entrance or used to sing the national anthem and stuff and all the pay-per-views. Who are some of the best voices? I'll give you one.
Okay.
Sure.
WWF did an album of rock and wrestling where they did Land of a Thousand Dances, and I think that may have been where Real American came off it, maybe not, but then they did an album called Pile Driver.
Okay.
And Jimmy Hart sang on it, and Junkyard Dog, Grab Them Cakes.
Grab them cakes.
The actual song Pile Driver by Coco Beware,
It's not bad.
he can sing. Somebody told me that they saw him in a club in Memphis thumping bass one time too.
Oh, wow. Wouldn't surprise me.
But he could actually sing.
Really?
Yeah, the power of love, it sounds just like a pile drive. And I saw the video, I'm like, this is nice, actually. He can sing a little bit. Better singer than wrestler, but dang, not bad.
So who are some good singers in wrestling? Who are some decent...
The Road Dogg. You gotta remember, he did the song for Jeff Jarrett when he was the Road.
That's true.
Be my baby tonight.
Yeah, Brian James can sing.
Road Dogg can sing a little bit.
Well, I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Shawn Michaels sang the original Sexy Boy, and then it switched to some random generic guy.
No, it was first sung by Sherry Martel and then him.
Yeah, there were three of them. It was Sherry Martel, then it was Shawn Michaels, and then it switched to some random guy during the Attitude Era. And
I don't remember that. I only remember...
And it was not as good.
Huh.
Are we neglecting to mention Mr. Cool, Cocky, and Bad?
I thought of him earlier.
Yeah.
Honky Tonk Man.
Little honky tonk.
But he was terrible. He wasn't good.
He wasn't good. No.
I'm asking for some good ones. How about this one? Eat Your Heart Out, Rick Springfield, Jimmy Hart.
Oh, Jimmy Hart, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Hart could sing. Jimmy Hart had a few records before he got into the wrestling business for some notable acts.
He was in a band down in Memphis called the Gentrys. They had one national hit called Keep On Dancing. I keep on dancing. Now, when I was a kid, there were these Teddy Ruxpin type bears that danced.
Okay, yeah.
And the commercial was actually that song. And I remember as a little kid liking that song. Then later on I found out that, the Mouth of the South, baby!
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't the lead singer on it, though.
No.
Somebody else was. Oh, by the way, you guys do know who sung Real American, right?
Rick Derringer.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Hoochie
I only
Coo.
know that just because they used to have Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo over at Z95, and I'd play it and then mention, oh, by the way, he sang that song Real American, who originally was not for Hulk Hogan.
No.
Really?
Everybody knows that.
It was. You know who it was for? I can tell you.
It was for Barry Windham and
Mike Rotunda.
Mike Rotunda, yeah.
Oh.
Which is Husky Harris /
Bray Wyatt's
daddy.
Yeah, Mr. IRS, Michael Wall Street, Jacob.
Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes.
So let's keep on going with this wrestlers who sang.
Wrestlers who sang. Well, I mean, you can't forget The Rock. The Rock concerts live.
Oh, the Rock concert. Oh, no, not just the Rock concert. Do you remember this? Because Jacob used to own a bunch of wrestling music CDs.
Oh, I remember his song Pie.
I think it was Volume 4, where he had a song called Pie.
Oh, I remember that song Pie. Yes, came out when we were in junior high.
I got
7th
one-
grade.
Jesus Christ. It was horrible.
I got one for you,
Okay.
Kyle. Who sang this
Yeah.
one? Jacob, I'm sure you know it too. Be a man, Hulk. Be a man, Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
Lord.
We don't do that one live because we don't like to give that asshole the attention. Yeah.
Macho Man's rap album. To which Hulk Hogan responded with a rap album of his own.
No.
Yes, it's out there. It is. Oh, it's worse than Macho Man's, if that's possible.
Wait, who's it?
Hulk Hogan released a rap on his own in response to Macho Man.
It was a diss record.
It was a diss track.
On the planet. He made a rap album.
Oh yeah, not just a rap album. It's a diss track. It's
I'm gonna have to go pew.
oh, it's terrible.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
It's terrible.
I don't know. Randy Savage's album was terrible.
Yeah.
I'll tell you somebody who could.
As I imagine.
Let me tell you guys. I'll tell you somebody who could sing really well. And I remember watching back in the day. WWF had this show called Tuesday Night Titans on USA Network. Vince McMahon hosted like a talk show, like a David Letterman style type
Okay.
show, right? And he had Hillbilly Jim on there playing an acoustic guitar and singing like a bird.
Oh wow.
Big old. That was Duck Dynasty 30 years before Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
And Hillbilly Jim, you can look him up. He's got a radio show on satellite radio, by the way, or he did,
Okay.
playing authentic old country music, the stuff I really dig.
Oh,
but
very
the dude could. I mean, I don't know if there's a such place as Mudlick, Kentucky, but you get the idea that the dude probably was raised somewhere in Kentucky. I mean, if there's a Knoblick, Missouri, why can't there be a Mudlick,
That's
Kentucky?
true.
Right?
It's true.
Absolutely.
Oh well, he looked like he fell off the back of the turnip
You
truck.
guys also
So
remember the tag team Strike Force.
Strike
right?
Force, yes.
Yeah,
We
Rick
do.
Martel, Tito Santana. Tito Santana on the album Pile Driver did a song called Girls in Cars, sung completely by him.
Really?
Was it any good?
I happen, it's okay. I mean,
Girls in
it's
Cars.
the time. It's kind of generic, but, it is what it is. I happen to come across a download of every WWF/WWE wrestling music album ever produced, from the wrestling album all the way to
I don't think that's something that you stumble upon, Kyle. I
Hey,
think
guys.
you looked for it.
Hey guys, I gotta pause just for a second.
Look for it.
I gotta pause for a
I went
second.
to the Raw.
I've got to pause just for a second. I got to pay some bills with this real quick, okay?
All right.
Pause for the cause.
All right, here we go. Come see me at Sheer Expressions Salon inside of Holiday Inn in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, where Jacob Ford gets his hair cut. Dun! Okay, we're done. I had to plug it. I'm going to do that. You know what?
Got to pay them gimmicks.
I did that. Yeah, got to pay them gimmicks.
In the mail called bills.
Hey, man, I was half-ass joking just then, but I ought to really do that. Like, totally plug where I
you
work
should.
on my podcast.
I will.
Get yourself out. Yeah, re-promote yourself.
That's right.
I'm going to do it for you.
Because you know what? I pay the bills on this bitch.
Hey, somebody's got to.
So, Kyle,
Yeah, sir.
If you could do, we're going to switch gears here for a second, all right?
Okay.
You were in radio. You want to get back in radio. Obviously, in radio, one of the big things you do is interviews. If you could if you could have interviewed one wrestler live, who would it have been?
Well,
you did interview a couple of them, didn't you?
It's a guy I was supposed to actually get to interview, Kurt Angle. And we wound up not having the time to do it.
What is the appeal in Kurt Angle? Because he bores the piss out of me. I don't give two shits that he won a gold medal.
I'd love to pick that man's brain and get into his psyche for professional wrestling. Because you're not going to find a better pure wrestler on the planet. And Kurt's I think he's underrated in terms of how entertaining he is. I mean, go back and look at those old segments he did with Austin. With the Howdy Doody guitar and trying to win Vince's approval and stuff. Kurt's a pretty funny dude. I'd imagine he'd be pretty entertaining.
I mean, he did well in the business. I never got it. I never got it. Never got it. I just thought he was boring and had hair like Roy Clark.
Didn't his head by the way, not look just all as big as all hell when he had hair? And then all of a sudden he had a peanut head when he was bald? It looked like he had the world's biggest head when he had his hair.
Yeah, I see, and I think just the opposite. I thought he had like the Tito Ortiz thing. He went bald and his head looked gargantuan. Like, that's a big old melon on Tito Ortiz.
Yeah, he's big head.
I'll tell you somebody who looked like that, a big old, or a tiny head on their big ass body was Viscera. Rest in peace.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness, yeah. He was all little head.
King Mabel.
But he looked like 5 unshelled M&Ms, the peanut one.
Wow. So guys, Kyle, I want to start with you. That way we're not talking over each other and whatnot. I'm going to start with you. When you were a kid, what was your first memorable thing in wrestling? Like, what's the first big thing in wrestling that you remember?
This is kind of a double whammy. It was good and bad in the same night.
Uh-huh.
The first pay-per-view I ever saw was Survivor Series 1990, and with the bad, you already know where I'm going, so I don't think we even need to bring that up. But the good, obviously, was the debut of The Undertaker. And I can't lie, he scared the ever-living daylights out of me. And I remember watching the show, and there were kids that were, looking like they were about to cry when they saw this guy walk out of the ring and tombstone Bret Hart and beat up Coco Beware like it was nothing. That was the first really big one to me, and then, the Gobbledygooker happened the same night, too.
The what now? Oh, the Gobbledygooker.
Gobbledygooker. Jesus.
What about you, Jake?
See, I've got a few different memories. I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what it would have been, because I've got tons of memories of old WCW Saturday Night playing through my head. But I remember the Sting Flair match where Sting had the red, white, blue face paint, where he won the title, coming back from the knee injury. I think that's probably my first one. What year would that have been, Kyle?
That was 90. It was Great American Bash.
That's what I was thinking. It was 1990 Great American Bash. So that makes sense. About the same year. We're the same age, so that makes sense. We'd have got into it about the same time. I mean, I remember having old tapes and stuff of the stuff in the late '80s, like Chi-Town Rumble and stuff like that. But yeah, I think 1990 Great American Bash. Sting beat Ric Flair for the title.
I'm going to go, and I'm going to precede you guys by a good little chunk here. There's a few things that come to mind. One of them was actually the first time I saw Hulk Hogan, and it was long before he was in the WWF the second time. It was when he was in it the first time,
okay,
and he fought Andre the Giant at maybe at Shea Stadium. And I remember that he put something in his armband and bloodied up Andre the Giant. I was probably about 5.
Okay.
4 or 5. That's one of the first ones. And it was around that time, too, that the Freebirds were in Georgia Championship Wrestling. And I remember they did a triple pile driver on this old wrestler named Robert Fuller. He teamed with Ted DiBiase. And the angle was they had broken his neck. They pile drived him from like the top of the rope, the 3-man spiked pile driver.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
So illegal today.
Oh, yes. But, imagine 1980, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So, Kyle, I'm going to guess here because I have a moment that scared me in wrestling, too, and it was long before The Undertaker. But for you, was your first scary moment The Undertaker then?
Yeah, really. Yeah, it was just because I was 3 years old, so I wouldn't remember anything.
Sure.
Prior to then, but yeah, that was about the scariest thing the first that I remember. Most of them either involved Undertaker or Kane, to be honest. But yeah, just seeing him with that pale face and the sunken eyes, real stoic look on his face, and this huge guy with no emotion out there. He's beating people up, and he looks like he could probably eat you.
Yeah.
I remember crying about it and not wanting to watch the rest of the entire rest of the show. And for a long time, I didn't even remember what happened afterwards, just because I saw it end. And I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. And I go cry to my mom, and she just put me to bed.
What about you, Jake? Who just scared the piss out of you?
Who scared the piss out of me? You know, Kyle's going to laugh about this, because now looking back, it's just ridiculously just terrible acting, terrible writers, terrible angles, but Kevin Sullivan, Taskmaster.
I knew it. I so knew it.
Kevin Sullivan and Taskmaster in the Dungeon of Doom in WCW, early 90s, scared the piss out of me.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I mean, looking back, the other Sullivan guy, the big one.
Mike? Is that his name?
Yeah. Now looking back, he just looks like he was slow or something. I mean, they had guys like Brutus Beefcake still trying to pay his bills as the Zodiac and Earthquake and Shark Attack.
Whatever gimmick he had that week.
And yeah, looking back, I think that probably would have been around the 92, 93 era. Because Sullivan was feuding with Hogan.
They started that.
Huh?
Good lord, dude.
Yeah.
I can't let you live this one down because I don't get that many over you.
Oh, I know. But, see, I wasn't a huge WWE guy when I was younger. I mean, I would watch it a little bit. I remember watching Ultimate Warrior stuff. But I was a lot more WCW in 92, 93, 94, stuff like that.
Right.
So, yeah, it was the Dungeon of Doom. Like, the first Halloween Havoc pay-per-view scared me, I remember.
Well, I got to tell you guys.
With the Chamber of Horrors match.
Yes, Chamber of Horrors match with Abdullah the Butcher or whatever.
Abdullah
the Butcher.
Which leads to me, and the first wrestler to scare me as a little kid, Abdullah the Butcher.
I bet he'd scare me today.
Every match he was in, somebody got cut.
Uh-huh.
Somebody was bleeding. Somebody was flopping around, acting half dead, and here he was, all just this big old scary black dude jamming a fork in people's foreheads.
I had the forehead on that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him in some interviews today, and his forehead.
You thought Dusty Rhodes had a bad forehead from blading.
Yeah, Dusty's forehead looked like hamburger meat.
Oh, Abdullah, though, he was gouging a fork into his head. I mean,
yeah. But I'll tell you, there was this wrestler. And I know you guys know who he is, but you just weren't born when this guy was in his prime when he first came out, and it was really just kind of spooky. But he would come out. He'd have like something covered over his head, some kind of weird, funky mask with a horn coming out from the nose. He would take it off, spin in a circle, and spray green mist everywhere. And I'm talking about the Great Kabuki.
Great Kabuki.
Face all painted up. I always had a thing about these people, too, that painted up their face. It's like, why are you hiding?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to me, he was just so... And even though he was like 5 foot nothing, didn't speak any English, you cannot find an interview with him. Gary Hart was always his manager.
Oh, Gary
in
Hart.
all promotions.
Oh.
And but for some reason, Kabuki just had this.
Yeah.
Well, you're a creepy little shit, you know.
Oh yeah, I've seen lots of tape on Kabuki.
And then another guy, and I hope you guys know who he is, but if you don't, I highly recommend looking him up. His name was Maniac Mark Lewin.
I've heard the name.
This guy would turn he would turn like his left or right hand upside down, and then with his other hand he'd grab it. So he looked like he was getting ready to serve something on a tray, and he'd go, yeesh, yeesh. And then like he would eat Gordon Soley's new papers that he had his notes on. This dude would be like frothing at the mouth, and like he played the crazy character like perfectly. And he was like a really buff guy, you know. But those would be three that scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Oh yeah,
I would like hide behind the couch while my dad would watch it. I'm like, are they off yet? Are they done?
Oh, I can imagine had I been born in like 10 years prior, like had I been born in the 90s or early 2000s or something, I think the Boogeyman would be the scariest guy I've ever seen. He was, he was creepy.
Kid with a strong imagination, yeah.
I mean, as an adult, he's creepy.
Oh, I was going to say, as an adult, there's a sense of unease at best, you know?
I think with the worms in the mouth and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Gyrating and shaking like Papa Shango had done.
Oh, yeah.
Got him with some voodoo.
For sure.
Papa, you know they're inducting Papa Shango to the Hall of Fame, right?
No, you see, they're inducting him as the Godfather, though.
Yeah.
Which is,
and I am disgusted with this.
Why are you so upset the guy was over like hotcakes and he made money?
Okay, he made money. He made money. This is where me and Kyle tend to disagree.
That's all right.
He made money, but tell me what makes him a Hall of Famer.
Nothing. In my book, no. He's a memorable character. I'm not. I'm looking at it from the objectiveness of that. Okay, yeah, he goes in. It's WWE's Hall of Fame. It's not a pro wrestling Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, but I think they should.
The Shockmaster's a memorable character.
Yeah, I mean, I really think they should take their Hall of Fame a little bit more seriously. I think it's insulting to intelligent wrestling fans.
No doubt they are, but you know how WWE's Hall of Fame is more. It's still not as. It's not so much of I'm buddies with this guy. Let's throw him in. It still kind of is that way, but it's not as bad. Because let's be honest, if it was all about who you knew, Honky Tonk would be in years ago for being Lawler's cousin. To be honest,
Honky Tonk deserves to be in more than
Honky Tonk should be in it.
He deserves to be in more than the Godfather. He's the.
I agree. I got to side with Jake on this.
Champion of all time.
Exactly.
And he was cool, and he was cocky, and he was bad.
Exactly. I mean,
I couldn't say that with a straight face.
I mean, what are they even going to show when they induct the Godfather in the Hall of Fame? They're inducting him as the Godfather. They can't show any of his exploits on PG television.
Exactly, because they're not TV-14 anymore.
It's stupid.
How are you going to homogenize that character?
Yeah,
Are you going to show the good father from Righteous Censor?
I would have preferred. I mean, if they're going to induct him, they should induct him as Papa Shango, and they should just play the clip of him making the Ultimate Warrior projectile vomit.
Yeah,
and it's the greatest thing he ever did.
And then make everybody else in the building puke. Jesus.
So, we actually touched on it here. As an adult, has there ever been a character that scared you? Now, obviously, me and Jake said Boogeyman makes us uneasy.
Boogeyman's a little uneasy.
Has there? Let me just rephrase it. We're not going to get scared by pro wrestling at this point. It's just not going to happen. Has there been anything that made you uneasy?
Let's see. Other than the Boogeyman.
Katie Vick.
Yeah, that's what I was going to think. That's what I was going to say anyway.
Yeah.
Katie Vick, Judy Bagwell on a pole, that made me very uneasy. The Hogan Warrior angle in '98, you know, Hogan can't see him in the mirror, brother. That made me want to puke. Should have made everybody else want to vomit.
Let's see. I'm going to go.
I'm talking as far as just like really just classless, borderline, not shocking, but just.
Well, I have little to no morals, so it's hard to get me like that. But
I thought when Edge and Lita had sex on TV,
Yeah,
I thought that was just
sex.
unnecessary.
It was unnecessary, I agree. It accomplished nothing.
It didn't add to the program.
No.
No, Vince told them. I don't know if you guys have heard the story from Edge, and I think he did it on Jericho's podcast. He talked about that and how completely uncomfortable he and Lita were about going out there and pretending to screw each other. That was just generally one of the most uncomfortable things for them to do, like out there in front of that audience, for people watching at home, and I was no fan of it. And nobody got over it.
I've not talked to anybody that was like, oh yeah, that's one of my favorite wrestling moments.
Mm-hmm. I think I would have to go with Eric Bischoff and his WWE run in the HLA, the hot lesbian action that he would promise people every week.
When he beat up those women?
Yeah.
Oh. That was
just
a lot of pretty. How about this one? And I obviously, Jake, I think you might get a kick out of this, but the wedding of Billy and Chuck.
Oh, that was hilarious how that all worked out, though. I mean,
I didn't even follow that. Like, I was so far removed. Like, how did that end?
It ended with Billy. It was Billy Gunn and Chuck Palumbo, if you remember from WCW.
Yeah, he just died recently.
No, that was his partner. That was Sean O'Haire.
They were, I think, tag team champions, and they were getting married, and we're trying to make it a legit, wedding ceremony. And Stephanie's out there, and then the preacher winds up taking. It says the words 3 minutes, and then he takes his mask off, and it's Eric Bischoff, and then Rico turns on Billy and Chuck because Rico's over.
Right.
And then they actually attack Stephanie. So that was the end game of it, and then the guys waved it off saying it was just a publicity stunt.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you even go that far? And you're going to anger some groups. Like,
oh yeah. Well, I laugh about it to this day.
Nobody came out better in the end.
That's true. I thought it was a very. It didn't really finish well. I mean, there was nothing to the finish. They wasted the entire segment. But what Jerry just brought up, that was Sean O'Haire, the guy that Chuck Palumbo broke in with.
That's right.
He recently died. I always laugh because Chuck Palumbo has since retired from the business, and he's a motorcycle, custom car, bike builder. Like a really well-known guy, like
Undertaker.
Like kind of like a Richard Rawlings kind of guy, like a Fast and Loud. Chuck Palumbo does that kind of stuff. So I've seen his show on TV a couple times, and he's just this huge mountain of a guy, and he towers over his customers.
Is he still buff?
Oh, he's huge, man, and he's got his long hair back, and he's just a big, scary-looking guy. And I just always think about the Billy and Chuck angle when he rolls up in front of his business on his motorcycle, looking like a badass. I would be that guy that comes in wanting him to build me a motorcycle, just asking about Billy and Chuck. That's all I would ask about.
Like, dude, can I get a pink chopper?
Yeah. You're into that, right? I mean, I bet he doesn't escape it. I bet it follows him everywhere. I mean, Billy Gunn was a walking joke on himself his entire career almost. So
how many wrestlers have actually portrayed themselves to be gay? Obviously, Adrian Adonis, Adrian Street seemed to borderline it.
Yeah.
There was a guy that weirded me out as a kid, was Adrian Street.
Yeah, he was creepy.
No, he was very, very out there.
Very uneasy.
Yeah. Of course, Gold. Well, I was going to say Goldust because he was androgynous. And the line try to make you think, okay, he's got this woman, but clearly he's got to be gay. But okay, we don't know.
Right.
So, Goldust kind of blurs those lines. Here's one I know he did it in TNA, which no one really talked about. But if you remember Orlando Jordan for a cup of coffee in WWE, he was a black guy with JBL.
Oh, I know exactly how
Orlando Jordan is. He was gay in real life.
Yeah, he's gay in real life.
Actually, he's bisexual. I did Wikipedia for some reason about a week ago, and he lives in Australia and runs a wrestling school. But yeah, he did it, and he actually had. I'm sure you told me about this match. He had Ultimate Warrior's last match.
Oh yeah, in Italy, Ultimate Warrior beat him for some indie world championship in like Milan or some shit in 2009.
In Spain, and the match was terrible.
Yeah, oh well.
It was just so funny.
To be fair, it was about as good as any Warrior match ever. So.
it's so messed up to see Warrior work in a match with a guy who had a gimmick like that, given how outspoken Ultimate Warrior was about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
He was looking for a paycheck, though. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, of course you'll do. You'll do anything.
He had to pay for some of that human growth hormone.
Exactly.
Isn't it funny that Pat Patterson never portrayed a gay gimmick, given how everyone in the business has known he's been gay?
Yeah, like how many wrestlers were legit gay in real life but didn't portray one? A gay wrestler, Canyon.
Yeah, Chris Canyon.
Yeah.
Well, with Pat Patterson, though, during that time, I mean, that was the time where if you were gay, you had to keep it secret. I mean,
Oh yeah.
especially in Canada up there. I mean, I've heard rumors that Dino Bravo was gay. I don't know how true that was. I know he was involved in the mafia and ended up getting shot multiple times for some cigarette deal gone bad.
Well, but of course, growing up in the Attitude, you talk about Pat Patterson, you notice all the little jabs and inside jokes that would be made on commentary.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually watching. It was the night after Backlash 2000 where they had The Rock face Shane McMahon in a steel cage match for the WWF title, and they made Patterson the special referee. So Rock's up on top of the cage, and Patterson gives him a low blow, and then JR goes, "That's the thrill of Patterson's life."
Oh yeah, I'll watch on the network every now and then, like an old Attitude Era Raw or something, like one that corresponds with the time period that we're in now, like the same time of the year, just because typically it's a better show, even though it happened 15 years ago.
Right.
It's quality. It's not a 1.1. But, it's, the little jabs, all the innuendos and stuff. Actually, bringing up gay wrestlers, this is something around those lines. One of my friends I've met through social media and stuff on the indie wrestling scene wrestles under the name Sonny Kiss. I've got him on my Facebook page. Very, very athletic, very acrobatic on the indie scene. Great wrestler. Friends with him on my Facebook page. Look him up. Saw something the other day, like in his matches and stuff, and he plays kind of a more flamboyant gay character. And, like, he'll kiss his opponents or something like that. I suppose they talk about it, and if they're okay with it, I'm sure that's how that goes down. I've been backstage at tons of indie wrestling events. But, here recently, he just had a match with Ethan Carter, or whatever, from TNA. The big guy from TNA.
That's awesome.
And, Ethan Carter actually shared this video. It's Ethan Carter gets his payback on Sonny Kiss, and he grabbed him by the back of the head and he kissed him. Ethan Carter kissed the Sonny character, and I thought that was cool because that kind of, steps over the lines. It's like he's a huge name. He's had feuds with Kurt Angle. He's a huge name, and he doesn't care to do something like that
That
at
is
a show.
cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Kind of a big sign of respect, really.
Exactly, and it shows more visible respect that
Exactly.
Performers have for one another if the other one happens to be gay, because it's not a big deal. Now, with you saying that, Jacob, have you heard of the wrestler Joey Ryan and all the ruckus this guy's been making about duplexing people with his junk?
No.
Oh, God. Let me tell you about this guy. So Joey Ryan, he used to work in a TNA for a little bit. I actually went to a live Impact TV taping about 3 years ago around this time in Jonesboro, and he was down there. He was managing Victoria when she was working down there. Now, he's crafted this gimmick where he's kind of, it's almost like it's like a like a flamboyant porn star gimmick where he actually, he has his own variation of the perfect plex called the U-porn plex.
Oh. Okay.
I'm just like, he suplexes people, and they sell this ridiculously with his penis.
Is he the guy that suplexes women when he grabs their boobs from behind?
I think he does that too.
Yeah, that guy recently proposed to his fiance. They were wrestling against each
They
other.
were wrestling a match.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's the dude. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
know
one of the
exactly
crazy-
who you're talking about.
I'll tell you one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Over in Japan, this Japanese wrestler grabs this I'm guessing European or American wrestler, white guy, grabs his junk, and the guy goes into a crab pose, and sends the Japanese guy to his knees with his hand on his junk. He's all, "Arr!" and then he's acting like he's twisting the Japanese guy like he's got him in an arm bar through his junk, right?
Oh, I've seen that. He sells
yes, and then the guy raises up and he's like, "Arr!" And he like takes his arms and like, what would you call it? Air suplexes the guy while the guy's got his hand on his junk, and the guy does a flip and lands on his back. I'll send you a link to that. Some of the craziest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's like, that's awful. No,
that's the kind of stuff they like over there in Japan, though. I mean, they're into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and of course they're dead quiet over there. And then after that segment of that match is over, then they applaud, rule.
They golf clap.
Yeah, they golf clap.
Usually react is they wait and they let everything register, then react.
Right.
Usually that's how it is. So, but good Lord, some of the stuff that people have been doing lately is just going beyond boundaries of ridiculous.
Another one I saw, this guy acted like he put the other, there was like a 6-man tag, and this one dude, he puts the other 3 wrestlers in a trance and they start dancing around the ring.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever. I'm like, what in the hell? That ain't got.
You must have been watching Chikara wrestling. It's very comedy based.
It's like, this has nothing to do with wrestling.
It's like, give me a wrestling match. Give me something entertaining. Vince Russo was recently.
He said it best. Wrestling is this: who's fighting, why are they fighting, and why should I care? That's all it is.
It's all it needs to be. Vince Russo recently said that if he could get control of WWE Creative again, the first rule he would enact is nobody leaves the ring.
What? Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Nobody leaves the ring. Nobody jumps off the top rope. Tell a story. Don't wrestle a match that's based on high spots, because that's not a wrestling match. He thinks that's what's wrong with today's wrestling business. Everything's high spot oriented, and it's ending careers early. It's responsible for low ratings.
I don't think that's necessarily the case.
I think it is.
Mexican wrestling is a lot of high spots and, a lot of acrobatic style wrestling, but they tell great stories down there. Their best talent do, that is.
But they weren't spot artists.
Exactly, and not like.
And that's what people are today. That's what Daniel Bryan was a high spot artist.
But also he was a technical wrestler, but he also realized that he had to do high spots to get.
See, but he didn't have to.
Guys, let me sum this up with 3 letters. ADD.
Yeah,
everyone's got that shit.
That's true.
If you were to try to go in and take let's say a Ric Flair Harley Race type match, where you take hold of a body part and you work that for 20 minutes, people start booing now.
They probably would.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to blame the wrestlers so much as just our lack of. I blame partially wrestling, the industry, because once you had guys, and it started way back when with Jimmy Snuka jumping off the top rope. Okay, well that got a pop. Next thing you know,
and then guys like the Rockers and the Rock and Roll Express,
exactly,
all the high flying stuff.
Right, and it just it's like anything. It's you get your brain, your dopamine, all of that. It's busted its nut, all right, and it's like you got to do something now to I don't know, regenerate excitement. It's like everything's been done that can be done. What can we do now? And I think that's
my girlfriend actually said it best, because she's a big wrestling fan as well. She said you cannot please anybody anymore, and their attention spans are too short. If you don't give them something now, they will not be happy.
That's true.
That's true.
Unfortunately, that's how it is.
That's true. The guys go out there and they wrestle with the intention of making the crowd say, "This is awesome." And I think that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong with the wrestling business today, in my opinion. I mean, I would much rather see.
Why is everybody trying to be the cool heel?
I would much rather see a Shawn Michaels Bret Hart match where there's 1 or 2 high risk moves and a good wrestling match. I mean, everybody bashes the Sting Triple H match in Mania last year. The finish sucked, yeah, but the actual match was good. The actual match was straight out of like 1994, and it was good.
Let me tell you something about Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Obviously, something that made their matches good is, one, they legitimately didn't like each other.
Well, that's true, yeah.
But two, they both understood that psychology of wrestling. You don't need one high spot after another. It's like this. I do hair for a living, okay? If somebody comes in and they got dark hair, they want highlights.
Mm-hmm.
That highlight is an effect.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've got some dimension to the hair. If they come back and get highlighted again 20 more times in a row, guess what? You don't have that effect anymore.
Exactly.
There's no more dimension to the hair. You are now effectively a nasty bleach blonde.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everything in the wrestling ring that you do, from the bell starting to it ending, needs to be special.
Exactly.
Yes.
Doing a bunch of high spots, and not to knock guys who are actually good workers. Like
The effect is gone.
Or, if you're Kalisto, but their matches are a ton of high spots, not telling stories within the ring.
Yeah.
See, now...
Like I said, it's not a knock, because WWE has a lot of tremendously talented workers. It's a lot of ways it's the way they're trained. It's the indie mentality that they know, what's best, and yada 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 and all that jazz. And you got to rein it in. And but not all of them are like that. You take as you watch NXT, you take a guy like a Finn Balor or Prince Devitt, as he's known worldwide. Tremendous storyteller within the ring. He and Kevin Owens had a great matches last year that told strong stories. Him and Samoa Joe have been just destroying, shows across the country.
Oh yeah,
they tell great stories in the ring.
I know.
And not enough guys do that.
I know a ton of indie wrestlers. One of my best friends in the world, Jesse Sorensen, well-known guy from TNA and stuff like that. Huge on the indie scene now. I mean, he's more of a technical, stiff worker. I've got some other friends that are. They're a lot more high flyer, and they're so acrobatic, and I've seen them do things in the ring that just shock you. They got a couple friends that get to wrestle at the Cauliflower Alley convention this year, so that's a big honor. And they're starting to, one of them, Ricky Starks, recently got a match on NXT. Jesse Sorensen's had multiple matches on NXT now. I mean, I've got a ton of friends who are indie wrestlers, but I think the indie mindset in which you're talking about, the high spot thing, I think it's a problem, really. I just think it's a major problem.
Well, sure.
You know where I think that honestly stemmed from? And I'll admit I'm a mark for this promotion, but I think it, in the best ways possible, all the good things about it. It stemmed from ECW, if you really think about it. Now, indie wrestling just stripped away a lot of the, the garbage elements with the usage of the weapons and the violence on the women and stuff. But the guys who couldn't work in ECW, a lot of their matches were just high spots and doing ridiculous stuff.
That's
guys
true.
Influenced by, the Rob Van Dams of the world, which Van Dam's a good worker. He's great, but not a great psychologist. He's a high spot guy. Sabu, one of the most innovative men in the history of the business, but he's a high spot guy. No storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of these guys of this generation have seen.
Well, Ric Flair famously called Mick Foley a high spot artist.
He called him a
glorified stuntman.
Yeah, stuntman.
Hey, I'll agree.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
But Mick could tell a great story in the ring when it was warranted.
Yeah. I kind of wonder how much of that was, part of the creative team saying, here's what we want you to do. Like, I wonder how much free reign he had, we'll never know because we weren't there, and stories are always changing. Exactly. So before we wrap this up, we're at the 58-minute mark here. Kyle, I want you to list 2 wrestlers. I want a technical wrestler and I want a brawler. I want your ones that you feel did it the best. Technical wrestler or brawler.
Technical wrestling, man.
I know I'm putting us on the spot here.
There's a ton to choose from.
Oh, yes.
You can't go wrong with Bret Hart. You never can go wrong with Bret from a technical standpoint. Now, brawler, that's a lot more wide-ranged. Just because of the injury that forced him to change his style in the ring, I have to go with Steve Austin because he was a technical wrestler. He's actually a pretty well-rounded dude, but the injury forced him to change his style, and the character forced him to change his style. And who drew more money and did it better than Stone Cold? So,
it's true.
Very true.
Very, very true.
But, that doesn't mean he's got to be your favorite. I'm just talking personal favorites.
Oh, well, if you're going to go with a personal favorite, I have to go with a guy who's a little bit of a hybrid of both. And, I mean, I'm a fan of Taz. I love his work in ECW.
Sure.
Now, I don't know how much you guys got to watch of that, but
I like
Of
Taz.
course, they talk about the whole Suplex City thing. He was actually really the originator of, showcasing suplexes in his matches.
Human suplex
But with
machine.
but with guys like, Bam Bam Bigelow, he could brawl with Sabu, he could brawl with, but he could also go to the mat with great workers himself. So I was a big fan of him as a technician and a brawler. But if you're taking me as a brawler all day, it's still Stone Cold because he did it so well.
He did it well. He did.
Yeah.
What about you,
What about you
Jake?
guys? What are y'all feeling?
Let's see. I mean, obviously, Bret Hart's an amazing technical wrestler. Is he my favorite? Maybe. He's up there. Sting, great technical wrestler also, when he had to. But if we're going my favorite technical wrestler of all time, if we're watching tape and we're going back, let's see. Well, how are we before I say it, how are we going about technical? Is it just the technical based off like submissions, or just like a match artist that could tell a story? That could tell a great
someone
story.
that did more than just throw a punch and kick.
Favorite technical wrestler of all time, Jerry Lawler.
Oh.
I think he could tell a story better than anybody.
And see, I think of him as a brawler, believe it or not.
Yeah, I mean,
his finishing move was a punch.
well, that's true. That's true. He could go either way, really. I think favorite. I mean, Austin's obviously a big pick, but I'll go with Nash. I think Kevin Nash has been one of my favorite brawlers from his time as
Heck
Diesel,
yeah. Right on.
from his early ages.
Good answer.
I mean, he had
He
six.
really he maximized.
I mean, he had 6 moves.
He could brawl.
Yeah, he had 6 moves that he did. That's it.
Jim Cornette, he'll tell you.
Oh yeah. So I think, I think Kevin Nash is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite brawler of all time.
And your favorite technical wrestler would be Lawler.
I think Lawler or Flair. I mean,
Yeah.
Flair's obviously great. I could throw Dean Malenko in there. He's amazing.
Yep.
But
Another one you could throw in there, Lance Storm. I mean,
Storm's an amazing
How
technical wrestler.
How about this one? Steven Regal.
Oh yes,
oh, absolutely.
I'm a huge fan of Steven Regal.
Definitely.
Bob Backlund.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Bob Backlund.
yeah, Mr.
To this
Backlund.
day, I tell Kyle all the time that I wish they'd give Regal one last run before he's completely
He
done.
really does deserve it.
He's
I don't know
good.
who they would do it against, but he completely deserves it.
He's someone that's believable enough. I mean, he made Bill Goldberg have a good match.
You mean he exposed Bill Goldberg?
Well, he exposed Bill Goldberg as a total joke, but he made him look good in that match.
Yeah, he did.
Because Regal can grab you and move your body in a way that makes it look like you're hurting him. That's how technical he is. That's a good pull there, Jerry. I should have thought of Regal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite technical wrestler is one of the guys that actually scared me, just because he was so freakishly weird, and that's the Exotic Adrian Street. If you've not watched many of his wrestling matches, man, you really and I was thinking of him before Regal, and that's what made me think of Regal's. Man, those cats over in England.
Oh yeah.
They were technical wrestlers, Kendo Nagasaki, and they didn't have very many.
Fit Finlay.
Yeah, Fit Finlay, as good of a brawler as he is.
Yeah, he's an amazing brawler. But
amazing
he's
brawler, but he can
technical
wrestle.
wrestler.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Exotic Adrian Street, and for just brawler, I'm going to have to go. Ah man, I want to have to say Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah, I could see that.
Just because he scared the shit out of him. These guys, Adrian Street was so flamboyant, and he never came out and said he was gay. He had a female valet, but the dude flitted around, and he had those songs, Imagine What I Could Do to You.
Right,
all those videos he did. I mean, he was just psychologically, the dude was a mind fuck.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right.
There's
There's some honorable mentions. I was going to say Superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah.
But he really goes into a category of entertaining wrestlers. Man, for me, my favorite wrestler of all time is Superstar Billy Graham.
Mm-hmm.
He was ahead of the curve. The guy was obviously ahead of his time. Ridiculously short championship reign of a year when it should have,
Cena's house in Memphis.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've seen his place over there.
I'll be dang.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
But,
Kyle will be shocked that I'm going to throw this out, but I'd be amiss if I didn't. Remiss, sorry. Somebody, grammar police will get you on that kind of stuff.
oh, yeah.
But, Benoit.
Sure.
Benoit on either.
Yeah, Benoit could do both.
You could call him either.
Yeah, the guy turned out to be a psychotic killer.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, but
But you look at his in-ring work.
But you could put him on the top of either of those lists.
Exactly, because he was flawless in the ring from a technical standpoint, but as a brawler, he was stiff as all get out, and he would pepper you.
Oh, exactly,
He
exactly.
was exactly like a guy we didn't mention, the Dynamite Kid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, how about this? What about wrestlers that sort of portrayed brawling, but could actually surprise you with technical wrestling? The first guy that comes to mind, you watch him in Japan, Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
There was actually, he learned some wrestling down there with Hiro Matsuda.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's because in Japan, they're more sport and reality and realism.
But tell me this.
Well, Hiro Matsuda tried to cripple that man.
If you were 6'7", 8", legit,
Yeah.
a legit 260 pounds, 280, whatever.
Why are you going to
Why
do
are you
moves?
going to be a technical wrestler?
Exactly.
He did what he
Exactly.
should have done.
Mm-hmm.
It would make no sense. It'd be like Undertaker doing a sunset flip on someone.
Oh, exactly.
Why would you do that?
It is completely illogical. But I watched a match where Hogan and Japan did this awesome enziguri, and I'll slack y'all like
Oh, yeah.
Hogan. But it makes all the sense why he didn't wrestle over in Japan the way he did here, because he was making so much money hand over foot with Hulkamania.
Oh,
He didn't
exactly.
have to. Why?
Over here is 3 punches, a boot, and a leg drop. That's all he needed.
Dude, when I was a kid, I had so much fun watching him, It's like, oh, he's getting his butt whooped, and then he'd come back and, make the comeback. Boom, match was over. Yeah, he did it again,
yeah.
I was talk about a little mark for somebody. When I was a kid, I had the Hulk Hogan workout set with the bandana and the little blue weights and the tape, and I was a Hulkamaniac, dude.
I tell you what, since we're getting towards the end here, a little off topic, but talking about Hulk Hogan, with all this stuff that's in the news about Hulk Hogan and his trial going on.
Yeah.
I'm a bigger mark for Hulk Hogan now than I ever have been. Just based off some of his testimonies. He's in federal court. He's in federal court on the stand, under oath, swearing under oath, and he will not break kayfabe. They were talking about the size of his penis. And they were like, because I guess in some video he had said something about a big, huge penis or something. And they asked him specifically if his penis was 10 inches. And he said, Terry Bollea's penis is not 10 inches. I was talking about Hulk Hogan.
Yes!
And they're like, are you telling me that Terry Bollea and Hulk Hogan are two different people? I'm telling you, Terry's is not that big. I was speaking of Hulk Hogan.
Oh, my
To a federal judge on a stand, he will not break kayfabe. I'm a bigger mark for Hulk Hogan now than I ever have been.
Oh, I've got to look that up.
He won't break kayfabe. It is great. He deserves.
That's awesome.
That alone deserves him to be in every Hall of Fame of all time.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
Yes, brilliant.
Was he like, well, let me tell you something, Otter. My penis is not up for debate here in the Grand Courts of the United States, brother.
Oh, there's some hilarious...
The hallowed halls of the justice does not need to be talking about my penis, brother.
Oh, there's some hilarious pictures. There's some great pictures going around. You know how people do the courtroom sketches?
Yeah.
In every case and stuff. I knew this would happen. Somebody's done a courtroom sketch of him sitting up there on the stand, ripping his shirt off. And it is brilliant. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I think when he takes the stand, he should go up to Real American.
No, I think you should.
It
I
should
think
be
you should have
played.
entrance music. You really
I think
should.
Real American should be the new national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
When it crashing down and hurts inside, baby.
You got to take a stand. Right now, he's got to take
don't
the
help
stand.
Yeah, he's taking the stand right now.
Tell me this just real quick. Kyle, what are your predictions for the presidential election? I don't give a shit who you're for. Who you think's got this?
I honestly don't know and don't care personally. Whichever one of us is not going to get us sent to World War III is okay with me.
There you go.
Leave it at that.
Well, all three of us are fathers. We don't want our children to inherit a shitty-ass U.S.
No.
No.
I just want about the best opportunity to wear and best person for the job that has experience doing so.
Yeah.
That's about it, man. I'm pretty bare bones with it, so ain't gonna get no whole lot of fluff. Because I know Jacob's a lot more political than myself, so it's his, man.
Here's what I think should happen. Me and Jake were talking about this the other day. Whether you like him, whether you hate him, doesn't even matter. What you feel about the guy isn't even in the equation. It's looking like Trump's going to run away with the Republican nomination. And lover, hater, think she's stealing it. It looks like Hillary's probably going to get the delegates, regardless of how many states Bernie Sanders wins. If Trump were a smart man, and if he could talk him into it, imagine a Trump-Sanders ticket.
That would be the election.
Prove that you want to go across party lines and elect somebody from the opposite party to be your VP. Put your money where your mouth is.
And that also would show that he's willing to work with both sides.
Oh, exactly.
That's my point.
Exactly.
And not to mention,
it would be a brilliant move.
I think it would be brilliant.
Because there's no way that Sanders is going to get the nomination. Hillary's the establishment pick. The GOP establishment is trying to sabotage Trump every way they can, bringing in Romney and stuff like that. And Cruz and Rubio and John Kasich are working together to try to stop Trump also.
Who else besides Ben Carson is back Trump?
Chris Christie.
That's dropped out of the race.
Yeah, Chris Christie. And, they're doing everything they can to stop him. John Kasich is the only candidate campaigning in Ohio now, ahead of these Ted Cruz and...
As far as I know, John Kasich is the only person who's ever done anything really awesome for the U.S.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Which was authoring the 1997 Balanced Budget Act that Bill Clinton signed into office and got credit for balancing the budget.
Exactly.
For. That's as political as I get.
We can thank John Kasich for that. He did that.
We really can.
I don't know who's going to win, though. It could really go either way. Trump is, all my personal feelings aside, looking at the facts, Trump is bringing more people to the polls than have ever voted in any previous election in U.S. history. It's up, the average I think is 61% higher voter turnout than in 2008.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Those are crazy numbers.
Here's what I like, guys. And again, I don't care who you're voting for. I'm obviously not a prejudiced guy. I've got a African American man on here. I've got a openly gay man on here, and then I've got me. We've got three very, I guess two of you would be considered quote unquote minorities.
Wait a minute, Kyle's black?
Yeah.
I am. I'm black from the waist down. Anyway, my point here is, all three of us can sit down and talk and laugh, have a good time.
Exactly.
Why can't more people do that shit? You know? Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing is,
too many people think with their emotions.
Yeah.
They react off their emotions and just can't let things be.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. I don't agree with everything Donald Trump says. He's very radical on some points. Being a pretty staunch libertarian, I actually have some liberal views. Obviously, I'm socially on the liberal side. Obviously, I'm pro-gay marriage. I'm pro-legalization of not just pot, but every drug. Countries in Europe have done that, and crime and death and everything related to drug use is down significantly. Drug use is down by over 40% in some of these countries that have legalized everything under the sun. They've taken the stand that the government can't control what poison you put in your body. Yeah. It's your body.
I say just don't harm kids.
Exactly. I'm not really for drug use or anything like that, but it doesn't really concern me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pro-choice on matters like that, so I'm not a Republican. Many people would like to paint me as that, and I catch a lot of heat here and there. But I don't know who's going to win. I tell you what, I'm excited that more people are involved in this election.
You know what?
Because
I was going to say that too. Like,
because it's important.
It is important, and it's kind of historical, and in a weird way, if it's got to be this way, I'm kind of glad I'm alive to witness it.
Exactly.
I'm not going to have to read about it in a history book.
And going back to the subject we've been on all night long, what I'm super excited for when Bernie Sanders loses the nomination and Hillary gets the nomination, Jesse the Body Ventura is running independent.
By God, he
Because
is.
he's a Bernie supporter, and he says if he can't vote for Bernie, he will run himself.
I would have no problem voting for Jesse. After all, he's the only one with successful political career.
That's true. That's true. I mean, you can't doubt his politics, and I agree a lot on a lot of his views. And Jesse's a staunch libertarian, also. So I mean, hey, my vote's not sealed.
Jesse Ventura is an extremely honest man because he will tell you his gimmick was totally a ripoff of Superstar Billy Graham.
Exactly.
Anyway, we have reached the hour and 15-minute mark. We went a little further than I normally like to go. I'm hoping people are still listening.
They're sleeping.
Probably.
Yeah.
We snort. Well, I killed him when I mentioned Coco Beware singing Pile Driver.
Yeah, that was early on too.
That was early on, man. I lost him.
Talking to ourselves.
Coco who? What the fuck? I ain't never heard no Coco. Coco Chanel? What?
Fucking parrots in the Hall of Fame.
Frankie the Bird's a Hall of Fame.
All right, well, guys, this is going to wrap it up. Jacob, Kyle, thank you, fellas.
No problem, buddy. Anytime.
Man, I appreciate it. You guys could have been doing anything on a Saturday night. I know you've got that newborn baby, Kyle. Congratulations again. I'm so happy for you, man. I have no doubt you're going to be an amazing dad.
Absolutely.
You already are.
Absolutely.
You already are. Welcome to the club.
Yep, club no sleep.
Yeah. And Jacob, thank you for coming on.
No
Appreciate
problem,
it.
buddy. Anytime.
Sweet ass haircut that you got. It's Sheer Expressions, cut by me.
It's nice, yeah.
Poplar Bluff, Missouri, inside Holiday Inn. Make a left when you walk in. Anyway.
That's shameful plug.
That's going to wrap it up for this week's edition. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. Thank you for all who have been enjoying these podcasts. I do hear about people listening to these, so that's really cool, man. And that's it. Until next time, be good to one another.